So, according to some estimates, the Batman actually exceeded some expectations. Particularly here at the domestic box office, it made 128 million over the weekend, um, and that includes the preview showings that happened last week as well.
Yeah.
Um, and then it added another 120 million internationally for a worldwide total of 248.5 million. And that is, in the past couple of years, the biggest opening other than No Way Home. So it had a lot going against it, Adam, I think. I mean, first of all, this is a long movie and it's almost 3 hours long. That could, for one, deter people from seeing it in the theater. Plus, it just means there are less available showtimes for this movie because of its length. So you have to consider that. Um, Consider the fact that this is a darker, nearly R-rated film that probably some people hesitated to bring their kids to. And there's a lot of different Batman versions out there. So you put all those things into the mix, and I think this is quite the accomplishment.
Yeah, that's all. Those are all fair points.
Yeah, so I would really like to see this movie to continue to bring in the big bucks. I mean, it is very positively reviewed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of word of mouth. This one is critically being reviewed well as the audience. Um,
Yeah.
the score is pretty high there. Uncharted came in at number two, pulling in another 3 day 11 million total, and domestically it is just over 100 million after 3 weeks. And Spider-Man: No Way Home is actually still in the top five. It came in at number four. It's almost at 800 million.
What is Sing 2 still doing on there?
I don't know,
I mean,
but it's still on there too.
that's
So
been out for a little while, hasn't it?
yeah, it has
Thought
been.
so.
Yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean it's in like the dollar theater now and stuff. So
Week 11, it says. It's wild.
yeah, yeah, and it's I think available for purchase now, but which is interesting.
These windows are all messed
Anyhow,
up.
yeah, so that's our box office report for this week. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the Batman, though. Um, so, toward the end of the Batman, and we're going to get into spoiler territory here.
We might
So,
as well just,
here,
from here on out, you might as well.
yeah, this whole show is going
Yeah.
to be a
If you haven't
spoiler
seen the
warning
Batman
for the
yet and
Batman.
you care, maybe come back after you've seen the Batman. Pause and
Yeah,
come back because from here on out, there are no guarantees.
for sure. So, toward the end of the Batman, Paul Dano's Riddler, locked up now in Arkham Asylum, comes face to face with another inmate played by Barry. Is that Keegan
I believe it's
or?
Keegan. Yeah.
And he was actually in the Eternals, I believe.
Yes. Yes.
Um, I forget what the character was that he played, but
Me too. I just didn't care enough.
he was kind of the always like irritated character that was just always angry, and
Yeah. Yeah. He's the guy
that
that.
one.
Yeah, the one that ended up being the recluse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Druig.
So his character, what's that? The
Druig.
Druid. Yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm.
So
He's had a lot of good roles.
this
He was in
fella,
Dunkirk also. I mean,
yeah,
he's done a lot of good stuff.
I think he's a good choice. I just I don't know how and we'll talk about this later. I
Yeah.
don't know how I
Yeah.
felt about the inclusion of the Joker here. Um and here's what director Matt Reeves had to say. I thought it'd be really neat if so much of the fabric of Gotham just already existed. He told this to Variety. And it was like an old Warner Brothers gangster movie, and if you took a certain turn, you might see a character in it in his origins. But he says it's not an Easter egg scene. It's not one of those end credit Marvel or DC scenes that's leading to the next movie. In fact, he says, I have no idea when or if we would return to that character in the movies. The idea was more to say, hey, look, if you think that trouble is going away in Gotham, you can forget it. It's already here and it's already delicious. um, so just this idea of all these villains are kind of already or in and around Gotham in either their infancy or, um, starting to develop as villains, basically. So
My
I like this
my rebuttal to
explanation.
that is why cast Barry Keegan and bring him to the premiere.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really
I
good
feel like
question.
there's more there in terms of
Yeah,
planning and I think that's just kind of a suave way to dance around it for now. So
Well, to your point,
I definitely think that Barry Keoghan's coming back into this series at some point. And I think that they have an
yes.
idea of when that will happen, and I think it's just trying to stay mum right now. Is that definitely the next movie? To his point, maybe not. Maybe it builds.
Hmm.
So maybe that's kind of like a finale type thing. But I definitely think that there's more to it than him just saying when or if we return to it. You're gonna return to it. So
Right, right. Um, and speaking of that, I mean, we might have an answer here for you in our next article, which is also related to the Batman, but it's focused on the spin-off series. And it was originally supposed
one
to
of
be
them,
a Gotham, yeah, one of this series, the
mm-hmm.
not the Penguin one,
Right?
but the other one. It was supposed to be a Gotham PD series,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but there's been some updates to that, and he says that it has now evolved into a different drama and will instead center around the world of Arkham. Um, and he's the horror vibe of this spinoff, and he says the GCDP thing. Um, is
That
that
should
the
be
it should be
GCPD.
GCPD thing.
Come on, coming soon.
Come on. That story has kind of evolved. He's revealed. We've actually now moved more into the realm of exactly what would happen in the world of Arkham as it relates coming off of our movie and some of the characters. It's like a horror movie or a haunted house that is Arkham. The idea, again, the way that Gotham is a character in the movie, I really want Arkham to exist as a
Now
character.
I want an Arkham
Um,
walkthrough a haunted house.
Yes. So now that we're talking about this
Come on, Matt.
Arkham spin-off series, is is this where we could see that Joker character show up for the next? You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe,
So I think that maybe
maybe
that's why we have that casting and everything, and
could be,
um,
could be.
yeah,
I can see that.
whether or not, because, and actually let's just save that for later. Let's talk more about the Joker later on.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Um,